I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it.
I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
Well, we're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiche. Be pleased to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Yay! BTR got it fixed. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good. I missed you guys. I had like a little vacation, a little vacation from the podcast, but not planned. Welcome, everyone in the chat. Let me know how the sound is, please. And however you're listening, wherever you're listening, welcome. Get your tea, your coffee, your favorite beverage, and let's do this, shall we? All right, a number to call in to listen by phone or to call in for a reading or say hi or chat or ask a question or get a dream interpretation or whatever is 347-539-5122. 347-539-5122 is the number. And you have to press 1 on the keypad if you have a question or a comment. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Gosh, I'm so excited. I mean, it was kind of frustrating, but I just kind of had to kind of go with the flow, right? So how's everyone's new year coming out? I actually start mine in October, although this one really does feel like a new year. It's the first new year that we've had in a number of years that we haven't, that a Mercury retrograde has not started on the new year, but finished on the new year. So I think that's kind of telling. I'm going to talk a little bit, share a little bit, but I do want to get to readings. Again, 347-539. I forgot the number, you guys. I got to 347-539-5122. Yeah, call-in number. Oh, it's working. Yay, Teresa. Thank you in the chat. Thank you. I just want to say, well, okay, a few things. Some of you, and I have to also thank Sunray, left a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful message on comment. So I hope he calls in, or because he left a message asking if we have the podcast. But he left a wonderful comment on the podcast episode on YouTube. So I do this year, I really want to expand, not only me, but all of you that are part of this community. I have some things planned for connecting more people, and really starting this gathering. I'm seeing it done in some ways also on the interwebs. So with that said, I would like to invite you to please keep in contact with me. You can, I'll put you on a list. You can email either awakeningspodcast@gmail.com or Michele at soulplayground.com. We get so many emails from subscriptions, or what do you call it? Not subscriptions, but people, that represent people to get on podcasts, PR companies, advertising companies. We get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails. So we're going to get a different email for some stuff that I want to do in connection with Awakenings, because it's just too hard to manage for Sadie with all the inquiries that come in. So anyway, yeah. So maybe email me at Michele at soulplayground.life. That's one Michele, and if you can't remember that, info at soulplayground.life, and I'll get that. But also to connect with me, start following me on Instagram. What else? Instagram, and then if you subscribe to Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube, as well as Awakenings with Michele Meiche podcast on YouTube, that will really help. And if you want to do a deeper dive, you have an interest this year of really manifesting your reality from the soul, really leveling up in what it is that you want to create in your life, and you want support, guidance, insight, you want to understand the spirit realm, spirituality more, you want to move from self-development into spiritual integration, and you want to live more from your soul and manifest from your soul, then I would suggest connecting with me on Patreon. Plus, if you want to have fun. I mean, we are really getting to know each other so much in the monthly group, the Soul Path Journeyer tier, that it's just amazing. And I got to say, we recently did a workshop on dreams, ritual, metaphysics, and manifestation. And I'm telling you that this last set, it was just such an amazing class. I mean, the wisdom, the insight that was coming in, the divine downloads, the intuition. It was really amazing. And I just see so many people connecting more to their soul, and that I'm a small part of this is so rewarding to see people really connecting into their soul and just doing the deeper inner work and really aligning and opening up to that aspect of themselves. And they're rocking their world, changing their world, changing people around them. They're, making things happen, not just for themselves and those around them, but for generations to come. So if that sounds appealing or interesting, you can check out Patreon. I think links are in the description box, or I know it's in my links on Instagram. And I'm telling you, that is the way to go. I'm doing some other things where I can connect with people actually on an even more daily basis, because that's the way. Look, I get a lot of one of my collaborators, Jen, that works with me, I'm content queen. And she's been saying that for 30 years. We've been working together, or 20, 25 years. And it's true. And part of it is not just my training that I've had and my life experience, but the guides. Being blessed to work with the guides, the spiritual hierarchy and the oversouls, and then having amazing clients and teachers in the training, obviously, yes, that I've had. But the guides are like a wealth of insight and information, and I'm just a channel to get it out there. And then other people get it out and disperse it in their own way and integrate it. Because we are the bridgers, gang. We are the bridgers to the new reality, the new awakening consciousness, the new paradigm, the new earth. The vibrational frequency of the earth is changing. As we're changing, we're all interconnected. So we're bridging from the old to the new, and there's awakenings. The awakenings that are happening. It's not just one awakening. It's a flourishing. It's a blossoming and blooming, and it's an awakening in every institution, sector, or system. The overall system of Earth, the planetary system, the universe, literally the universal system, but every different sectors in life as well. So there is a lot going on. There's a lot of change. I've been tracking with it with Patreon. I'm going to, like I keep saying, I am going to be doing more. It's just amazing. It just takes a lot longer to do things that you envision, because it requires, you get tired. I got clients. I got other things that I do, family, friends, and then I'm working with other people, so it's their schedule. So I kind of have to be patient, kind of cool my jets on things, and just go, okay, it's starting to move. But this year, as being in a 44-8, that's another thing. I did a deep dive on Patreon as to how to calculate your personal year. And I'm going to tell you, in numerology, it is not by the collective year. You're going to be off. It's just like astrology. Your astrology cycle, your solar return, is from your birth date, your last birth date, to the most recent birth date. And that's how you also calculate your personal year. Otherwise, it's not a personal year, guys. And I'm sorry, I don't want to get shady, Slim Shady, whatever. But it's like I just see so much misinformation. That's another reason why I want to, kind of extend myself out there more, because there's a lot of misinformation. People are getting, it's not, I mean, you're still going to get a good read or an okay read, let's just put it that way. But the fact is, though, if you really want to get an accurate read of where you're at, you have to calculate your numerical cycle correctly. And it's not from, their cycle does not change on January 1st, 2024. First of all, January is actually not the new year. That's an arbitrary new year. Just like in the Chinese New Year, it's February. If we look at astrologically and we look at some of the oldest calendars, the new year always started, and it's represented in the tarot by the Ace of Wands. It starts in the spring. And you can see that in esoteric sciences. You can see that in the esoteric principles. You can see that, I'm trying to think of some of the other traditions. So you'll have a heads up if you calculate the last birth date as calculate your personal year, birth date to birth date. And then whatever number that is, you can add it to the overall collective new year, which arbitrarily our collective new years in the Western world starts on January 1st. There's a Jewish New Year, right? Which I'm more aligned to the Jewish and Celtic New Year, which, by the way, those are both in October. So they're right around the same time. They have a whole atonement cycle. And then they have the new year after the atoning. And so, but in the Christian, the atoning is in, March or April, right? So, end of March, April. So I hope that helps you, that heads up. And then, then you add we're in a 44-8, and it's important to get the sub-numbers. I'm actually going to be doing a course on this in February. So, email me and I'll put you on the list. Or DM me or something. Because then you're going to see what your cycle is and how the universal cycle is. Now, why does this make sense? This is why I love metaphysics so much, because on one level, metaphysics, or what our higher self would have us do, ultimately ends up being a lot of common sense, right? So if everybody is changing their cycle at the same time, that doesn't really personalize it, right? But when you know your personal year and you add it to the collective energy, right? Because common sense, right? Not everything affects us the same way with everyone or all parts of the world. We're affected to some degree, but not completely, because we're born into different soul experiences. And one of the best ways to calculate your soul lessons and what you're here, you can get a reading with me, a soul path reading, a soul path astrology reading, or channeled reading, and look at the Akashic records. But your astrology, your numerology, your natal numerology, and your natal astrology chart. It's a blueprint. It's a map of your soul and potentialities, what you're going to do, what you're meant to do, what's possible for you to do, what you need to be aware of, what you need to be have caution about, where you need to balance. I mean, it's all there. So not everything that happens in the outer, external, or mainstream world, or mainstream consciousness, or race consciousness, humanity, the general population, is happening to you. It depends on your soul story. That's why on YouTube I read soul stories. And you hear some readers even say, this is your story, or look, let's look at your story, or that seems to be your story, or that's what's coming up. I just fine-tune it to the soul, because that's the vibration and frequency, the spirit realm and the soul. I like to work more specifically with the soul. And that's kind of also what I'm trained to do. So it makes sense then that some of the mainstream world and what's going on is going to affect us. And so you need to know that. So you need to know about the collective energy and add that in. But then you also need to understand your personal cycle, your personal year, because that's what's going to most intimately, affect you. All right, gang, let's get to callers, 347-539-5122. Okay, some people are listening by phone. Okay, you can also, by the way, if you're in the chat and things are a little glitchy, you can always just refresh your browser. If that doesn't work, reboot. And then if that doesn't work, then call in 347-539-5122. All right, let's get to callers. And 347-539-5122 is the number. Press 1 on the keypad. Hello, you're on air.
Oh, Michelle, Happy New Year. This is Debbie, and I'm so happy to hear your voice.
Oh, Debbie, hi, and thank you for the email.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, I love it. Listen, I felt so loved because I got emails and some texts, and then I got some direct messages on Instagram. We hope Michelle's okay because she hasn't missed. Listen, I even had, when I had that blue, the pandemic thing. The thing, I was able to show up. Even I showed up one time. I had to have a co-host. I think Paulo co-hosted with me. But when I had a concussion one time, and I still was able to show up. I was a little garbly, but I was still like, I'm not going to just lay around and not do any, But I'm here. So anyway, it was great to hear from you.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I had a chat with you in last August, and I told you that I had this pull to move tendinitis, and you had talked about, well, it's really not back. We spiral up, and it's it could be very easily about completion. And I've been so supported along the whole drive, and so supported with all my friends around the country. People mailed me checks to help me with the gas in the hotels. And as soon as I got here, I met up with my old equestrian friends. I went and kissed horses, everything that, makes my heart sing. And I just feel that this is the right decision, and you helped cleared that with me last August. And so when the time was right in the car, there I went. So now I'm here, and
wow.
So and I stopped to see my old hairdresser at Moonlight Hair Salon, and
I remember them. Yeah.
And I went across the street from where Heaven on Earth used to be, and went into Soulscape, and just to talk to the land, And so I'm calling today to thank you from my heart for this platform that you make it so easy to get in touch with you, and also to ask you, do the guides, the oversouls, the hierarchy have anything on you to say?
See. And make sure if you go into Soulscape, tell them I said hello.
I will.
Okay. I used to go in there and just sit down and play with the cards, read some books, play with the cards, get my tea, get my chai tea or my decaf cappuccino, and just sit there. So let's see, Debbie. So we're kind of looking at also what you don't see coming and the hand of God, because I did a pick a card that's based on that, and I'm kind of seeing a lot of I would say this year, miracles, exponential leaps, personally. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be doing a deeper dives on this in smaller videos, because when I get information from the guides and the oversouls, it's just so much information, and sometimes it's a little garbly. But I do see, pandemonium. There's a lot of shenanigans, because also remember, this 44-8 is about retribution. It's about what you've put into things. So you see it playing out with the government or different governments or officials. So it doesn't, so whatever you're putting in is to some degree coming back, or you're getting a leg up, a bump up. So let's see for Debbie. What is you don't see coming? What does she need to know now? Oh, this is such a good move for you. So there is a lot coming for you with your self-esteem, self-value, your worth, and I feel like you're on the road to stepping more fully, is what I'm being shown, into your gifts. But you're going to do it differently because you're going to have different boundaries and you're going to have a different understanding. Like before, you might have felt you had to be a little brusque or over-assert yourself, right? You might have had to, because, being kind of hurt. Well, you're going to have your own protocol, the way that you do what you do, and not take things as so personally. You're going to see other people's wounding, your own as well. All of us see our own wounding, but it helps. I had a situation this weekend. I couldn't believe it was somebody I've worked with forever. And I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't usually have these kind of things happen, but I literally had to say I won't be, I know you'll find assistance or you're with someone else. It wasn't someone I work with on a consistent basis. It's just every few years or something. But they pulled a little stinker. And they were, I knew it, because what happens for me, even on the show sometimes, podcasts, I'll know what the theme is, or I'll get a message, or I know who's calling in. Well, the thing is, when people call or schedule with me, even if they just I'll get a flash. They'll come in my meditation, and I already start getting information on them. That's why sometimes people get a reading with me, and they're like, "Oh my God, you've answered all my questions," or "How'd you know that?" And I'm like, "Well, because I can't help it." So once you say, like when people call in, they're like giving me permission to enter into their sacred space.
Sure.
So, but I looked at that and thought, sometimes some people are going to be stuck in a limiting, extra wounding patterning, and you have to allow that. You just have to allow that. That's where they are, and that's where they may stay. So what I see for you is that I do see you working with horses. I see you at the horse, like a paddock or something, or it could even be like a racetrack or something. I see you a lot behind the scenes. The thing is, though, I also see you working with other animal beings also, not just horses. I see dogs and cats, and by the way, a pet rabbit, or something. Some little furries. But it's going to be, you have different boundaries, and you're moving into just a better space of understanding your gifts and really ready to share them with the world and being in joy. You're opening up to a lot of joy also.
Yes. I feel that. I feel that.
Debbie, that's great to hear.
As soon as I kissed, the first horse, I said, in this particular one, I just tapped my chin, and it leaned forward and kissed me. And then I heard it say, "Do you have a treat?" And I
welcomed you. Oh, my gosh. I love it. Wow. Well, please keep us posted. I'm going to go to the next caller, but thank you so much for your email, checking in on me. I really, really appreciate it.
No, from my heart, yes. And Happy New Year, and I send you a great big hug of appreciation. And thank you to all your listeners.
Thank you. Big hug.
Mm-hmm. Big hug. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, you're on air.
Hi. First-time caller.
Hi. First-time caller. What's your name?
Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. Welcome.
And so I don't know what to ask. Thank you. I want a reading to see what the guides have to say going forward. I've had health issues, and I don't know. So maybe I should let them take over.
Well,
they know better.
Everything is starting to improve. You're going to feel. First of all, you are either needing to or will be getting more support or more input. So you're going to be rebalancing, I feel like, how you interact with people close, especially those nearest and dearest close to you. There's a shift there. And I feel like for you, July in particular is going to be really good. I would say the end of spring, there's a shift that happens, and then into, especially in July and in through the summer and fall on. So something's coming back with your vitality. So if you did have health issues, you're going to be able to get to the bottom of it or figure out what's going on or what you need to do, or the protocol starts happening. Most of all, I'm getting an energy of kind of getting unstuck. Yeah.
True.
That makes sense. And what's going to come up too, also you're going to be, okay, there's two things. You're going to be working with issues around money and your own power, being responsible for your own wisdom, your own power, your own empowerment, what you can do in the world. And so a lot about what comes up for you is about passion, purpose, fulfillment, inspiration, and finding more of that in your life in little ways and then eventually also in big ways. And that's greatly going to help your constitution. It's going to switch your, really switch your constitution. And it is going to get things moving, okay? So it's not immediate, but I do see it starting, okay?
Yeah, because that's what I want to do. I want to work with dogs and energy. Yeah, dogs and horses.
There we go. And Debbie does that, and I was picking up that. So it's not by chance that you called in right after her. So no, I know. I was thinking that myself. Right?
Yep.
What a sign. What a confirmation for you. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think
that recognition of your own power that you have, that power and empowerment, and that power to assist and be of service and to heal and to help, and also getting the remuneration from that, getting the energy, the money, the vitality, getting that reciprocation. That's going to be a lot of your main focus.
Yeah, because see, that's what people don't realize when you do energy work. Not only do you give, but you receive. That's the thing. You do.
Yeah.
Good or bad, whatever. It comes,
Yeah.
You just have to
you're in the field. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it also depends. I mean, you get fulfillment, too. But sometimes also when people have a lot of unhealed issues or not looked at or heavy condition response patterns, and that's, as a healer, you show up to be able to do that, or a therapist or whatever, a teacher or whatever. You're kind of doing that heavy lifting sometimes,
Yeah.
So you have to figure that in.
Yeah, I was in the corporate world and very empathic, intuitive and everything. And it finally got to the point where everybody opens up their package on a different day, and it just may not be this day. And you need to let them come to that day so they can be in that moment and really internalize it so it becomes part of them, and it's not such a distant thought. It's intrinsic to them then.
Absolutely. And the same token, sometimes people don't, and that's their path too.
Right.
And maybe that's,
and that was hard to learn.
Yeah, I was going to just say, Barbara, maybe that's the package to us then. That's the gift to us, to essentially let go, let God, that's that person's path. And, beautiful. Well,
yeah, because we're not here to play God.
No, exactly. So true. Please keep us posted on your unfolding. Call back anytime you want. And I'm glad you found us.
Oh, I am too. Thank you so much. And Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michelle. My name is Mary.
Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. So I have a question. I started seeing somebody a few months ago, and I'm having fun, but I need clarity on feeling out whether the hesitation I'm feeling is from past wounding or, knowing this isn't the right person.
No, it's saying don't put your eggs all in one basket. It's showing have some caution to keep yourself going. I think it's a part of, and by the way, I feel this connects into the collective energy of that 44-8 of not repeating patterns. So you may be doing this relationship differently, and it may feel a little different to you because you're doing it differently and not as familiar, because you're not either all jumping in or cutting off, or giving the benefit of the doubt. You're feeling things out, and relationships are little 2 steps forward, 2 steps. It is a dance. There's a flow there, an in and out flow, and even when people are partnered for a long period of time. So I feel like this for you is about you not losing your autonomy in relationship and keeping your own routine and world going and what you do. So it is saying that more time is needed. So I don't know how old this new this is, but I'm getting more time is needed, more communication, and just more fun, more lightness, and more in a light way getting to know where is this person's not only head at, but more importantly than that, in the present. What do they? Where do they see themselves? What are their values? What do they see themselves doing in the future? Is that really aligned? Because you don't want to have to do any, redos or makeover sessions here.
Yeah.
And that's what you're kind of getting out of. So this is a very transformative relationship. I mean, this is a quick read. I don't know if I could say it's the one. It's definitely showing dating. Yes. But it's also showing for both of you that there's some kind of level of transformation in this relationship, of growth, of learning, of doing relationship differently, thinking differently about relationship, being more honest with your needs and wants. And so, so it is fun, and it's meant to be fun and light. It is saying, now one thing, I am getting the message, and then I've got a scoop, but is that if something keeps hanging in your mind, to bring it up, because that was a past part of your patterning, where you'd kind of let it go, or you'd kind of say, well, probably was this, or we're doing great, it was probably that. But to bring things out, because sometimes I do feel this person, one thing that you're picking up is you might feel they're not saying everything or revealing everything. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and I agree. So that, let me ask real quick, why is the reason they're doing it? Because they're not sure. Are they also seeing other people?
I'm not sure. It's only been about 2 months.
Okay, they might be, or they have friends that are past interests or potentials. Okay. Let's see, what's the best perspective I should take in this relationship? Oh, it definitely shows dating, but what's going to be the thing is about the values and where are you going and what you want at this time of your life. And you're only going to know that by letting the person reveal it, letting it sneak out, tumble out, And believe me, I know this. I mean, it's not all women. It's not just a gender thing, but it leans towards that, and I've experienced that myself, where women, we can fill in the blanks, But,
make assumptions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then down the road, when their behavior is not like that, and the person can come, they can literally, some can say, well, I wasn't sure, or I never said that. So, that's what it's going to boil down to. But I definitely see you guys continuing to date. I just think as it gets closer, you're going to have to see, because I do feel you do, whether it's this person or someone else, I do feel you do have a committed relationship coming up. But what I can tell you, I do not feel the one that's coming up for you, because you're in not only is this collectively a pattern, a year of pattern interruption. This is an 8 cycle is always about breaking, limiting patterns or patterns that we no longer need. But I feel you're in that personal cycle, and that's why you drew this relationship in. So I can definitely tell you, the person I do see you with, you're not going to have to pull things out of. In fact, they may be the one that says, well, what about this, or what about that, or remember we were talking about this, and you said that, I was thinking about it, what do you think? So if you're having to pull things out, I would just say to take a pause and really check in with yourself.
Definitely. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Michelle.
For calling in.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Happy New Year, Michelle. It's Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm so happy that I was able to call you. I've actually been on vacation from work for like a week and a half. So I'm like, I have time to call in. So I was very excited.
Nice. And I think we
Yes,
have...
and I'm excited about the topic. So I just wanted to see what is coming for me that I don't see coming.
Okay.
Yes.
And by the way, on Patreon, just for you, because you like those readings, what's it? I think on the next couple of days there's another reading coming in on Patreon. So.
Yes, I get so excited.
Well, because I tuned in and I got some, information. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put this in the form of a reading.
Good stuff.
So let's see what is coming up for you. Okay. Oh, Jay in the chat, I missed you the past few weeks. Great to tune in. Yeah, great to have you here. Also, I missed you guys too. I had to practice lots of patience even when I emailed Blog Talk Radio. And they're like, just use the some kind of button you push. And I'm like, I have callers. That doesn't work. Right. And I guess that doesn't work. I got to have the phone. People got to call in. The guest has to call. It's a call-in show. Oh, my gosh.
Crazy.
Oh, gosh. Okay. A lot activating with your daughter, doing more extracurricular stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, more
She's
more
in
active,
college,
right?
so that makes sense.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she's in college.
I can't stand it. When I have friends, students, clients, and I see them, and when they tell me their age, I'm like, I thought they were 14. They're like, Michelle, no, they were 14, 5 years ago.
When they were 14.
When they were 14. I've got them playing. Oh, my God. Okay. So that's probably why. Yeah, a lot more and coming and going, and you're going to be kind of caught. There could be some celebratory something, and you have to go and get an outfit or something, or she's going to want an outfit. There's something coming up that's kind of, I don't know if it's fancy dress, I don't know, but there's something celebratory. With you're going to be looking at something different with the work or way you work, or adding something, an online component or a side of something to what you're doing. And I feel your soul has been wanting you to do this. So I feel this year, get the support to do this. But this is your year to start that. Okay?
Yes.
That's what you don't see coming. So let me see what's right. Yeah, I feel like there's a real focus on you. Oh, it's interesting because there's a lot of Gemini that comes. I just now threw the Astro Dice because I want to get clarity on what they're saying about coming out. Well, Jupiter goes into Gemini, and I'm getting that a lot with you. Could be writing, could be organizing something, researching. It could be being an advocate or putting packets or putting something together. So I don't know if you're working for a nonprofit or there's some aspect of what I'm talking about with what you're doing already and you end up working with someone. But I do feel this is the year for you to really start looking at what is that next level? What is that next transition for me? And part of it, frankly, is because I feel your daughter is more coming and going. There's a lot of activity. You're out of the house. Even though you're helping, it's like you're going to be more and more kind of with yourself. And the other thing is Spirit is saying you need to say something or speak up more.
Okay.
So there could be some opportunity to talk or share. I mean, even if it's in groups, it's like, I think what you don't see coming is there's going to be an aha that starts a little window, like an opening. I'm kind of seeing, it's like when the sun starts coming in, or you lift the shade up a little bit and there's a little light, and then more and more and more. But I'm actually seeing it like a circle, a sphere, and it's a small, like, little dot. It's like or like a seed within you, but this little dot of light is going to get bigger. That's what you're not seeing. And you are going to feel kind of pressed to research something and or do something. There's going to be this kind of pressing, like, I really got to do this, or I need help to do this, or I need to, yeah. So where you haven't felt the urgency before or in a long while, that, yeah. That, I don't know if that's making sense at all.
No, it makes lots of sense. It does, and I'm letting you finish before I say anything. So.
Oh, tell me, okay, because I might even see a move. There's something different about work too, work and a move. Okay, what were you going to say, Kathy? What?
No, I was going to say,
what?
You have been saying that for years to me, as far as me having, like you said, a side hustle or something on the side outside of my job. You did mention a virtual component to it. You said that to me for years, but the funny thing is that I've been feeling it more lately. Like it's time for me to like branch out and you know, lean more into purpose as opposed to just working. And it definitely, I've been feeling that it's definitely been hitting more because my daughter is out of school. It's been a lot of, I said this in our workshop, in our salon, that, you know, it's been a lot of transitions that have happened, and it's like it's been opening up a lot for me as far as me being able to focus more on myself and not, you know, my daughter's a little bit older, so I still take care of her, but she, you know, I don't have to do as much. It's just different things like that. Yes. So a lot of what you're saying is making sense. And as far as this side hustle that you've been telling me about for years, and you're like, I'm telling you, Kathy, you got to do it. You got to do it.
Well, it seems like this is the year then. That's the thing I always tell people with destiny issues. Like I do, when I do a lot of readings, and I'll have clients say, oh my God, you've been saying that for years, and it'll be exactly happening. Because a destiny issue is not based on time. It's not based on linear time. So it's almost like the really important things in our life, if you think about it, are not based on time. They're based on timing, or they just somehow happen, or we get the aha, or someone helps us, or somebody fortuitous comes in our life. So that's interesting. So you're starting to get that now then, already.
Yes. So,
wow. Okay. Happy for you.
Now, all the other things haven't happened yet, but I can feel that it's coming. And that's the reason why I was able to call in today, just to get that confirmation.
Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. I do see, and I see it in my private readings I do with people, and I definitely see it in the pick of cards. There is a much different energy for individual people. And I would say astrologically, I think it's because Pluto also in Aquarius, that Chiron in Aries. We're setting up for, Saturn will be in Aries, Neptune will be in Aries the next couple of years. It's a lot about the individual, because so much has been based on the group and that Pluto and Capricorn. So I think there's going to be a lot of group or systems issues with corporations, issues with systems and the groups of the world. But I do feel the individuals, there's a new level of empowerment and individuation that's coming up. They may want to fight the groups, but the individuation, so that's why I do see a lot more people doing more stuff on their own, even if they are working with a company or family. They're going to want their own thing, whatever it is, whatever that means. So so I feel you're fitting into that. You're getting that energy, because that's what the soul is about. It's about externalizing. It's making the soul wishes, dreams, goals, desires, the way the soul is external in the world to be seen. And and the body mind is the instrument of the soul. So this is the time of the soul. We have not been in this time, and that's why it's been easy to manipulate people or live from an ego level of I just need my needs met, that's all. But that's
right.
not enough for the soul. The soul wants fulfillment, wants passion and purpose and fun and variety and, so yeah, that's great. Oh my gosh, Kathy, happy for you that this is percolating now.
Yes, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll see you on Saturday.
Oh, good. We can all talk then. Okay, sounds great.
Yes.
Love to see you in our
Alrighty.
Soul Path Journeyer group.
Yes.
I just can only see or barely wait, actually, to see what's happening with everyone with this new energy coming in. All right, I will talk to you Saturday. Much peace. Bye.
All righty. Bye.
Hi, you're on air.
Hi, this is Ashila from New York. Happy New Year.
Hello, Ashila. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too. I just want to get a message for 2024. The general message, if possible.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you're going to have a lot of work. There's a lot of work to do. You're building something new. You're creating something. Now, there could also be, you might be feeling you're doing a lot on your own. Ashil, are you considering a loan or a bridge loan or some kind of investor or investment right now? Because that's coming up around you.
I'm looking forward to investing, yeah.
Okay, because I do think that's going to be a lot more of your focus, is something externally, financially coming in, either you getting investors or some kind of investment, or you investing in something, or it could be a loan to bump up the business. I just see external or outer income coming in to kind of bridge you. That seems to be the one of the themes for today's calls, this bridging to the next. Now, you could be working in partnership. There is either a new person that's coming in. I don't know if it's work and romantic or just work or just romantic, but I do see more partnership coming in. I do see that there's going to be someone around you. There is someone. There is a woman around you.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this year is a year that there's a lot for you to do, a lot of work this year, but I do think, and a lot for you to juggle or balance, but I do think that you're going to see, okay, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm building, and this is how I'm doing it. And so I think that uncertainty is falling by the wayside. Whatever it is that you're focused on does start to gain momentum or get traction, is what I'm being shown.
Sounds good. Absolutely. I mean, it kind of makes sense, to be honest with you, because since, the year just started, and I already feel like a shift, and it's hard to explain, but it's just like things are becoming a little clearer now, things are becoming a little more positive. I don't know. Hopefully it stay that way for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's clear if I look at the astrology of it, this is the first year, at least 3 years, maybe more, that we have not started with a retrograde. We've ended with the retrograde. And I think that has a big, even though we're in the shadow period, it's still, because it seems like every year we've not really had a clean start. And also I feel like there was a lot of changes, I think September, October, November, of the fall months, and especially in October, where people started getting, okay, this is what I need to do, or this is what's happening in the world, this is happening with me personally. I think people just started getting really real with themselves because they were truly seeing. The people that are really seeing, this is what's happening, this is the direction, this is where I need to go, I feel that for those people, it is like a new beginning, because you've set things up. When we've set things up, it's like we can step into that energy of a new beginning, because it's like, well, I have these steps. These steps lead somewhere. So I think that's what some people don't realize. Like if somebody's dating and then they get engaged. Well, yeah, because you were dating. You don't just meet someone and get engaged or marry someone. Most people don't anyway. So that's that step up. I think a lot of people don't realize that you have to create the steps or follow the steps or whatever, however you want to look at it, to your new beginning. In a way, we co-create our own new beginning by what we're intending, what we're willing, what we're focusing on, and where we put our intention and our energy and our action. So you've been doing that. So yeah, I do feel like this is a whole new beginning for you and a new level as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm excited and I look forward to that.
Yeah, keep us posted. Love to hear how you're doing and how all unfolds, and just make sure you get time off because you got like I said, you got a lot of work. There's a lot of work coming up around you. So yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Take care. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's see. Do we have our callers here? Okay, second half of our program, gang. This is the time for our awakening conversation. We're going to have a wonderful dialogue and conversation with astrophysicist Bernard Haisch and his partner Marsha Sims. They are the author of The Miracle of the Universe, A New View of Consciousness, God, Science, and Reality. What a perfect topic for what we've been discussing today. Hello, welcome.
Hi there.
Hello there.
We're here.
Hey,
we're here.
You too.
Bernard.
Yes,
hey,
thank you.
I just want to actually correct you on the pronunciation of his last name. It's Haisch.
How do you say
German.
Haisch? What is it? What is
Haisch.
it? Haisch?
Yes. Can you hear us all right? We're in our landline.
Okay, that's great. Well, that's interesting. The German pronunciation of my name is Meiche, and the French is Michele. So,
Haisch and Meiche, huh?
Yeah, right. Haisch and Meiche. And you know what's interesting? When I looked up the derivation of Meiche, it's Miche or Meiche is the hands of light. Isn't that interesting?
Wow. Yeah. Wonderful
and my
meeting.
Grandpa, I know. It suits me for what I do, but now I look at my grandfather, and my father differently, and I'm like, they didn't have any proclivity to this at all. That I know anyway. So, also, I want to say thank you for your patience because for 2 weeks we didn't have a program, a podcast. The whole broadcasting system was down, and there's nothing that I could do. So I really appreciate your understanding on that. And
it's working now. Great.
Yes, it's working wonderfully. So I don't know what they were doing, what was happening, but anyway. So really want to connect in. First of all, I want to get a bit about your background too, Marsha, and then we'll dive into the book, which I feel is like a perfect little bit of a guidepost for 2024 and beyond. But I also want to get a definition of astrophysicist and how the two of you work together. What's the complementary energies and focus, and what's the collaboration? But I guess this goes to Bernard, if you want.
I'm going to do a lot of the speaking because I need to clarify that Bernard has Parkinson's, but he's here on hand to ask scientific questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so his speaking is a little bit hampered, but he's still going strong. He's very courageous to keep on going with his interviews. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah.
Bernard, so great to have you here.
Yeah, astrophysicist is a physicist who studies the stars.
And the other astronomical objects, like the galaxies and planets and so on.
Yeah, and his favorite planet was?
My favorite planet was?
Oh, it was your favorite star, Proxima Centauri.
Proxima Centauri.
Yeah, that was his favorite star. Next to me, of course.
Yeah, right.
I'm an opera singer, so I qualify a little bit. Yeah, kind of community level, though. So I have a lot of fun with it. We met at Lockheed Palo Alto Research Laboratories about 39 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was hired there because I have, in addition to my capabilities as a music teacher and opera singer, I also am an administrator, and I'm really great at organizing scientists. So that's how I met him. I kept him organized, helped him with his publications, and did all the typesetting, etc. And we just kind of came together one day at the Xerox machine.
I love it.
He asked me out to lunch, and we've been going strong, ever since. But we've done a lot of projects together. We're kind of like perfect opposites, which complement each other. We ran the Journal of Scientific Exploration for 11 years, and this is a really wonderful journal that's published by the Society for Scientific Exploration, which specializes in gathering together a scientific group for studying scientific ideas that are outside of the box. Just a little bit outside of the box. It could include all the stuff Bernie wrote about in the book, to UFOs, to paranormal, to near-death experiences, etc., but it's all in a scholarly way. Do you want to add to that?
Oh, yeah. During that time, I actually was editor of two journals. The first one was the one that Marsha just described, the Journal of Scientific Exploration, which was a journal issued by a small community of researchers who did research on parapsychology and so on. But then, on the other hand, I was also an associate editor of the Astrophysical Journal, which is the premier astrophysical journal in the world. So I had a foot in, or two feet, I had one foot in each side of a fence here, one with the considering topics that are sort of taboo, and the other...
Well, since outside of the box, you shouldn't say taboo, because there are a number of scientists that are interested in the ideas that we present about co-creating the universe, which your previous guest was talking about.
But some days it was taboo to bring that up, though. I mean, it's still in some circles. But I do like outside of the box as well. Now, is this natural? What's funny, too, because when I was reading the title, because I actually did my dissertation as God as an Energy. That was my paper, and my research
Wonderful.
paper. Yeah, but of course, I'm coming more from what I experience experientially in the work that I do, as opposed to the science, empirical. So I'm curious about, because to put those two together and to go more outside the box, you see that more, but I would say, years ago you didn't see it as much. So is that as normal or natural? And then also, how did Bernard come to putting those two disciplines together? Or focuses, I guess I would say.
Spiritual side. When he was a little boy, he always wanted to be an astronomer and also a Catholic priest. And he used to line all of his stuffed animals up on his bed in his bedroom and feed them communion. And he got a lot of spiritual nourishment from doing so. So did the stuffed animals, by the way. And so I know. And he did train to become a Catholic priest.
Well, it's embarrassing, but it's true.
Oh, you were a little boy. You're allowed to do that.
I wanted to be a nun. Listen, there's always a priest, a monk story in so many people's backgrounds, right? The nun, the priest, the monk. So he always had this spiritual connection then, also.
Right.
Yeah, he always did. He knew he was going to write these books. He's written 4 books. He knew it from childhood. He was going to write about spirituality, God, and science. And by the way, God and science can go together, although a lot of scientists think not. But the National Academy of Science states that science is a way of studying the natural world around us by measurements, etc. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with the supernatural or the spiritual side. So the scientists who are atheists, etc., they're just sticking to the physical world. Everything is chemical, everything is physical, but they're not allowing themselves to open to the other side, the spiritual or the supernatural side. But they can coexist.
Yeah, well, and there are a lot of, there is evidence for that. It may not be always, codified or put in some kind of system to understand, because like you said, seems to be this split. And I find, obviously the people that we get, the scientists and physicists that we get usually have that background, and they're bridging the two, they're reconciling. What would you say about that, the reconciling of those two ways of looking at nature? Do you think we're going to go more in that direction? Let's talk a little bit about that, what that is or how that looks like, and are we going more in that direction, let's say, as a... Yeah, you do definitely, you think?
Talk in the world about how the human race is advancing on the spiritual side, even though on little things, overtly, things are kind of bleak for the world because of the
wars that are going on. Yeah, that is the bleak side, but there's two sides.
There is an uptick to this. I think that the world is coming to a deeper understanding of reality and of God and of itself. I see that happening, even though it's been only recently that scientists have been able to want to look in this direction, and most don't. But there's a possibility there of using a scientific way of thinking to come up with a deeper relationship and understanding of us as a race with God who made us.
Yeah, I wanted to actually bring up Bernard Haisch's, Bernie's philosophy of life, and it comes from his famous quote. Actually, this quote appears all over the internet. His quote is, "Advances are made by answering questions. Discoveries are made by questioning answers." And that's Bernie's premise. He questions answers to make discoveries. That's the mark of a true scientist, in my opinion, anyway.
Wow, the ability to question. Wow, and that's true. Then you would discover. You have the potential to discover something new if you are allowed to. If you are willing to question.
Exactly. You have to be open enough to question the answers instead of believing them all the time. A lot of people just look at an answer and they go, "Oh, that's how life is. Can't change it." But if you really look at the idea and you question it, you could come up with alternative ideas. And so this is how Bernie came up with his idea of about the miracle of our universe and both of our views of consciousness, God, science, and reality. We believe, or the premise we present in our book, which is the miracle of our universe, a new view of God, of consciousness, God, science, and reality, is that we live in a virtual reality or a cosmic simulation that was created by a vast cosmic consciousness known as God, Creator, or Source, and that we are all sparks of God and we co-create reality with Him or her. So we don't see God as, a male or a female or an it, because God doesn't have a human-like form, and many religions try to make God anthropomorphic, which is not our. God is a consciousness, a cosmic consciousness.
Yeah, well, I can agree with that. It's definitely not. It's the intelligence, the principle. It's really, if you look at studying the Kabbalah, there's so many names for God, and then eventually it gets to the name that cannot be revealed. What cannot be seen, what cannot be basically identified. So let's. I want to talk a little bit and get the kind of layperson and scientific definition of miracle. Because you're talking the miracle of the universe.
Okay.
I mean, we think of what are we talking about here? Because it does seem to tie in with what you're talking about, miracle, to me anyway, with God consciousness. When we step into that frequency or that zone or that awareness, things can happen. But we don't really have words to define it, I think, beyond religion. So I'm just curious what you would say. Yeah.
Well, so if you take our model, and I do want to emphasize it's a model because we don't claim to have all the answers, and scientists always develop models. So it's a working model, and we explain life and the purpose and what life might be like in the afterlife. And we see God as the cosmic consciousness that co-creates a virtual reality with us who are sparks of God. And I think the miracle could be defined as we are part of God. We are deep, we think. We're not just their physical bodies. We're not just their namesakes. But we're so vast and powerful and deep. And that is a miracle in itself, because a lot of people just think, okay, well, we're just flesh and blood, and how's my health, and, what am I going to have for dinner, et cetera. But no, the miracle is we are sparks of God. Would you say that too, Bernie?
I would say that's definitely true.
Yeah.
And we are basically living our lives in a way that will uplift, in the long term, in a way uplifting the world.
Yeah, it will uplift the world because we are co-creating this reality along with the cosmic consciousness or the source or God.
Yeah.
We use God a lot because that's the traditional term or word that's used.
Our basic assumption is that there is a great consciousness which covers everything, covers the entire universe and perhaps other universes. And this entity, which we might as well call God, or if you want to call it something else, you can, but why not call it God? This God has made a universe full of such creatures, like you and me, that
have free will.
Have free will. It's very important to have free will, and that will live lives that are interactions with this manifestation of universal.
Yeah. So God experiences new ideas and life through us, because we are the eyes and the ears of God here on planet Earth.
Right. What does it feel like to ski down a mountain? Well, that's something God could do if he wanted to, except he couldn't do it unless he changed his appearance, unless he became more like a human being, at least temporarily, the body. But right now, God is a spirit and doesn't need to have any the material attributes. He's perfectly whole, being God, but he also wishes to understand what it feels like to be God, which has to be looked at from the outside.
Yeah, before the Logos, God came out of the Ein Sof, which is a vast nothingness, and then as expressed in John 1, chapter 1, Logos, which is the Greek word for expression of a thought, God created. He used the zero-point energy, which is electromagnetic energy, to create the universe because he was lonely. And he wanted to create, and he wanted to see things happen. He wanted to just develop himself. I mean, you can imagine if you're the only consciousness and there's nothing else going on, it would be rather lonely. So he created us to have free will. The free will is really important, because that's what makes things happen. It's the wild card. So he evolves, God experiences and evolves himself through the free will actions of his offspring, which is us.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is the big, sort of like the big secret answered of why mankind is here on this planet and why other life forms exist elsewhere and why there's anything at all rather than nothing. That all comes down to God wishing to seek an experience, to understand himself and know himself, and he does that through us.
And he used the Big Bang to help create the universe. So a lot of scientists, mainstream science thought is that the universe was created by the Big Bang. So I wanted to bring it up here because Bernie's an astrophysicist. So God created the Big Bang using the zero-point energy, and that is actually, the ZPE is one of Bernie's new ideas, a scientific idea of how to tap the zero-point energy for energy that would be pollutant-free that we could use here on the Earth. I can tell you more about it later if you're interested, but the Big Bang...
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, it started just as a single point, and then everything exploded and expanded and stretched to grow as large as it is right now.
It being the universe.
And the universe is still stretching. So that's how everything came about. The Ein Sof, the cosmic consciousness, the zero-point energy, the Big Bang, and the universe was created. The solar systems, the stars, the planets, etc.
How was this done? That's
so what do you think of the supposition? You know, Jung always said that we're all this, you know, living question. And I like to say, yeah, we're the living question, but also the living answer. And this idea of God evolving or getting to know itself, so that each of us is this divine expression of some kind of, you could call it a question and an answer through our life, or an impetus, an impulse, an impetus of something that happens when you talked about logos, which is also thought, so maybe vibrationally, and then moves into thought form, and then moves into physical form. So almost like a self-generating, I don't know, creative matrix by some form of impulse.
You got it. That's
is that?
Exactly.
Oh, do I? Okay. So, but what is that? We don't. Is there a way to know what that mechanism? Because that I can definitely understand, and I feel I get that and live that. But and it's kind of, to me, evident, self-evident, self-referencing. But what is that impetus? What is that before? Is there any way that we would ever know that? What is before what is made manifest? Or even before logos? What is before logos? Is there a way that we would know that?
I've been thinking about it recently, and that is that the thing that, the force, the energy, the thing that has the enormous potential to make a whole universe is probably love.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that.
So explain that, you guys, because I know from my metaphysical studies we say love is the binding force. We also say out of the one comes the many, and from the many is the one. So that infinite source. And so I understand, cognitively, love is the binding force. Everything comes from love. So what would that mean as that force to create coming out from love?
Love enhances consciousness in a very strong emotional expression. We could say that.
Okay.
I don't think you can prove it scientifically because it's an emotion. It's hard to prove emotions by science.
Yeah, we don't really know what emotion is these days. Now, maybe
we experience them.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in 500 or 1,000 years, it'll be very obvious to anybody who looks at this world around us that love is the building block of this creation. And as I said before, that's a surprise to me because as a scientist, we don't go to graduate school studying about love. I mean, we
can't measure it in a test tube. Or with a ruler.
Right.
Yeah.
But I believe now that there is in fact something, not something, but actually something again. But there is something about love that the world does not appreciate yet, because it's only being applied to things like loving our family, our kids, and loving to do certain things.
Our partners.
But really, it's probably a very, very energetic force. And
so you're talking more of like a universal love or agape love. It's I know it's kind of hard to define. So you're taking it out of the personal or romantic form.
Right.
Right. We're saying it's a powerful force. That's,
a force.
Powerful, than a laser beam, for instance.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, we use lasers in
Okay.
our scientific technology, but this is more powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent a lot of time thinking about this and searching around, and that was the most important thing that we could find about the power of love, and that it's a strong emotional expression. So it's hard to get it.
Well, it seems that expression is needed to really do anything. Inspiration comes from that, attraction, I mean, even repulsion to some degree. I mean, that force, and it does bind, it does create. Now, where would this 0 point energy come in? Can we talk a little more about that? I'd love to hear more about that. And then does that tie into love? Is that the 0 point field?
Okay, so that's one of Bernie's main scientific projects that he's working on right now, and I help him with it. So the 0 point field, the acronym is ZPF, and it's attendant energy.
What is it? ZP? Sorry, excuse me. What is it?
ZPF, Frank Field. The 0 point field, ZPF. And its attendant 0 point energy, ZPE, is broadly recognized as a vast field of electromagnetic energy. It's also known as the field, the QVF. This field represents the underlying energy that is everywhere in the universe, even where there is otherwise nothing but vacuum. So remember I said God used the ZPF to create the universe? He created the ZPF. It's composed of a combination of every frequency or wavelength that exists. Some are long and others are short, but it's perfectly random. It's an infinite source of energy that was already known to Einstein and Max Planck. And our company, Jovion, JOVION.com, so it's www.jovion.com, has all the information that any of your interested listeners can find out about the work that we're doing here.
Okay. Did you send that link? Because then it would be in the description, the episode info.
Yeah, if you could put that in the info, that would be great.
I'll put it in the chat. What is it again? I'll put it also in the chat.
Yeah,
what is it?
www.jovion.com. And if you're putting that in the chat,
jovion.com.
That's it. Could you also put our website?
Yes.
For the book, it's www.themiracleofouruniverse, all one word, .com. And there's more information about our book, and people can email me if they're interested in finding out more information. So anyway, I need to continue with the description because I didn't really feel everything that was about it. Okay, so Bernie believes that the ZPF can be tapped in a way that would provide humanity with an endless supply of totally clean energy, and this would not violate the second law of thermodynamics. Our process has nothing to do with heat. It is electromagnetic. So there is a Casimir force that happens when two parallel metal plates are pushed together by an overpressure of the ZPE from the outside of the plates. So a Casimir cavity can be created that takes advantage of this force down at the nano level. It can be manipulated through the use of nano-sized Casimir cavities by squeezing out photon energy, little particles of light. Electron orbitals of an atom spiral down inside the cavity and photons are emitted. Our process then sends the photons through a photovoltaic cell, and electricity will then be generated. So the ZPF acts as a kind of catalyst. And we're hoping to develop an apparatus called the Casimir generator that's already been patented. So Bernard Haisch and Garrett Modell founded the company. I'm the CEO, and Hugo Trucks is the president. And this invention could be game-changing because of the potential for creating revolutionary clean energy, and it would combat climate change. and it doesn't require any fossil or nuclear fuel, and it keeps regenerating itself, because when the zero-point energy exits the Casimir cavity, it regathers all of the atoms that pass through, regain all the photons that they had before they were squeezed off. So you don't have to keep putting in energy. Once you get the system going, it is self-sustaining. That you want to add to that?
So would this be pulling from the
Yeah.
atmosphere? Is this pulling from the what do you want to call atmosphere, subtle energy,
it's pulling,
biofield, morphogenic field? Is it drawing in from that?
No, so the zero-point field is all around us, full of different atoms.
Okay.
It's so enormous and so uniform that we don't actually know that it's there because we're used to being in it.
We know exactly what it is. Very well defined physically or by mathematical analysis. And what it is that there is a positive. There's a positive and a negative balance of charges among particles that are in. Let me start over on that. A little bit not quite focused.
Oh, wait. So, why don't you ask me the questions so that I can clarify for you? Because I did actually tell you everything that I know about it. You know, Bernie's a scientist. I'm kind of his representative. But it is, the zero-point energy is an electromagnetic field. It already exists. And it was acknowledged by Einstein and Max Planck. So it's not some psychic field. I mean, it really is measurable by scientists.
Measurable effect.
Yeah. Well, so is subtle energy. I mean, it's just I'm trying to just see there's different terms. So I'm trying to see if it's the same. I'm trying to get if it's the atmospheric energy, the energy around us.
Maybe some people that are not scientists tap it and they call it subtle energy. But, I mean, we're talking about a real scientific term here. So.
Right, this is what you'll find in your physics.
Well, I'm trying to give understanding. I'm trying to give some math to people that are listening so that it's relatable, that it's similar to something. That way people are tracking what's going on. And that's why I asked also, like, is it, I guess could be different terms.
Yeah, but I mean, we would rather just people say zero-point field because that's its real name. Yeah.
But what you described is not as relatable, so I'm trying to give like a bridging piece to either other names or what it's similar to, right?
Yeah.
That's why I asked, is it atmospheric? But just trying to get more mass on what it is so it doesn't just stay heady, but that people get, a little bit more tangible understanding of what you're talking about.
Well,
so what is your supposition and with this field? What as far as a fuel source, I guess.
Okay.
So it will squeeze off photons of light. So it's going to be like solar cells. We're going to squeeze off of light. These photons will then pass into a photovoltaic cell, the way solar cell or solar energy is harvested. But the thing is, we don't have to wait for the sun to be out because we're going to squeeze the photons of light out of the zero-point field.
And the squeezing is done with the Casimir cavity. So there's a mechanism here for extracting energy from the zero-point field in a very well-established kind of understanding that we have that this field exists everywhere, at every point in space, inside our bodies, outside, everywhere. And that's actually the term, an energetic term you'll find in a physics book. So we're not too embarrassed to say we have something new here that might be Earth.
And by the way, we actually are looking for people that would like to participate or help fund our projects because we have not been able to get enough funding to get the proper size and kind of Casimir cavity that is needed because it needs to be manufactured at the nanotechnology level because that is where the little gap would be that the atoms could be going inside a Casimir cavity and the photons could be squeezed off. So if anyone is interested, you can go to our website and get in touch with us.
It's all there.
Yeah, it's all there. I encourage you to read it, Michele, because I helped put all the wording on the website and I tailored it so that a layman could understand the project. Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of scientific supporting evidence. We have all sorts of links to scientific papers on the website. But I also have done a description of how the whole process works, and I have little graphics with it, and it's in layman terminology. So, I mean, I invite you to read it and then give me feedback if you have questions.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm also thinking about the listeners here, so I got to,
Well, anyone,
group of people, And this information they can find, which, is this on the miracleoftheuniverse.com? Of our universe?
Well, or you can get our book. We have a whole chapter in the book.
Yeah.
Are you going to mention and put a link to our book?
Yeah, everything is in the description box. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And you have our website there and the Jovian.
Everything is there, and then this goes out to many, many podcast platforms. So,
awesome.
Always the description. Yeah, always the description goes with the podcast episode wherever it's uploaded, however it proliferates. I don't know technically how that. All I know is it shows up in a lot of Spotify, Apple, all these different platforms. Somehow it gets generated.
That's wonderful.
So Justin,
do we move on? How long? Do we have an hour? I'm just wondering how long we're supposed to go.
Yeah, we've got a few more minutes. What did you want to bring up? Because my question can wait. Were you
there are a number of topics here that we'd like to discuss, like, for instance, near-death experiences, past lives, is God a mathematician, and this relationship to music, why do bad things happen to good people, and what is the purpose of life?
Well, I
did
have a near-death experience. I would love to know scientifically what the heck it goes on. I can say experientially, but how does science look at that?
Well, so we've talked about the dichotomy between spirituality and science. So here's the difficulty on this. You have to have a personal experience yourself, right, before you actually are going to believe in near-death experiences. And I myself have had a near-death experience too, and I can share that with you. But
I'd love to. I'd love you to.
Yeah. But so the whole model of God is because God wants to experience Himself through sparks of Himself. Most people are born not remembering other past lives that they might have had. Like, for instance, Bernie does not remember. I did not remember until I had my near-death experience, and all of a sudden it pulled the veil aside and I could look and peek through to the other side. But only a little crack. I didn't have an enormous revealing when I went to the other side, but it was enough for energy to just kind of leak through. So anyway, so my near-death experience happened when I was 16, and I was with my family vacationing at a little beach south of Santa Cruz in California, and it was spring vacation, the week before Easter, I believe, and we were out body surfing and having fun. The waves were kind of high that day, and at that time of year, I mean, currents change a lot in the ocean, and weather can be kind of tumultuous, but I was having fun body surfing with friends from the other family, 3 boys and my sister. And I got a little bit reckless because I'm a good swimmer, and I was just letting the waves just kind of float me in. And all of a sudden, this really big, huge wave came along and just the undertow was terrific, and it pulled me under.
Oh,
and I
gosh.
was really scared because it took a long time for me to come to the surface. But like I said, I'm a really good swimmer, so I was able to get to the surface, and by the time I did, I could no longer stand up, and I was sucked out to sea rather quick. It was very...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so there I was, swimming, looking out, seeing the shore get smaller and smaller, and all my friends and my sister yelling and screaming at me, and I couldn't get out of this undertow current. And at first I was panicking, and then gradually I started to relax, and the other side of the veil opened to me, and my ancestors came to me, and they said to me, Marsha, we're here to help you. Relax. It's not time for you to go yet. We're going to help you stay afloat until help comes to get you. And I believed it. And I saw my grandmother on both sides of my family, my grandfather and ancestors. I know they were my ancestors down the line. Since then, I've had a conversation with another spiritual lady who says, well, your ancestors have a great deal of their existence at stake through you because you're part of their DNA. So that, to me, explained why they came to rescue me.
Yeah, because you have stuff to finish, Marsha.
I know, I do.
I
did.
There's a whole plan, right?
This whole plan,
Gosh.
They joined hands under me like a net. And all of a sudden, this beautiful glow, pink, purple, white halo just came over me. And there I was, floating in the sea of love and light. And I didn't even have to swim. All I did was float. And then after a little while, a surfer came out on his surfboard and rescued me. And he managed to pull me out of the undertow because he swam with his board, and I was on the board, perpendicular to the current. So we got out of the current, and a second surfer came to get my dad, who also had gotten pulled out to sea, who had come to rescue me. So we both made it in, thank goodness, and I've lived to tell the tale, huh?
Yeah, I mean, very beautiful, but also very profound. I mean, I would imagine kind of life-changing, too, you know?
It did, because then when I was 19, I had a high fever, and the other side was open to me, and I actually sat up in a yoga position in my bed at my parents' house. I didn't even know what it was at that time, and I went through 32 past lives in a review. So, anyway, that's why
it's amazing. We are so guided, and I feel like, you know, what the two of you are sharing and your book and your research is going to help people open up more to that and understand that and believe that, because it's maybe that is also what you're talking, the love coming through to help us, to guide us, to illuminate us. And that is that is our nature. That's a very strong part of our nature.
Yeah.
But, because you were definitely getting signs. And, of course, it's amazing having that experience, and then you've been on, I'm sure, other talk shows and podcasts, and you're here on this one talking about that, you know, and so others can hear your story and relate. And then it fits in with the topic of your research.
Right.
So perfectly, you know, yours and Bernard's research.
It does. I've kind of like his eyes and ears for the experiential side.
Yeah, well, yes, that's true.
He's the intellectual. I mean, I'm intellectual too, but I'm more experiential, and he's the one that's very logical.
It's a really good match. It's a really good match. I love everything that you've shared here. Let's wind down. I almost feel like I have to have you back for another go round at some point. You know, part two. I love what you've been sharing, and I love how you have put this together. And you're bridging that, consciousness, God, science, and reality. And I just think it's so crucial to where we are now, in our outpicturing or our unfolding, our evolution. I think this is, people want this kind of information and need it. It helps them, make sense of things also.
Well, that's right. And so we're presenting it from a scientific and experiential perspective. We're bridging both sides in our book.
Mm-hmm. That's what I like a lot.
Oh.
Say that again, Bernard.
Naturally,
yes, Bernard?
Yes, naturally we're hoping that the book does well, because this is a case where it's not just making money or royalties, it's trying to reach people with a new idea of God and what reality is all about, for the benefit of the world. So we do have a good other motive here for trying to go out and pitch the book.
Yeah, we want to be warriors for peace and love and light. I have a moment to tell you about how do you get a guaranteed ticket to heaven on earth. That was what we were really originally going to call the book, Guaranteed Ticket to Heaven.
Oh.
So, well, you have a guarantee.
Oh, well, I love it. I love what you've titled it, because to me it's threading. It's threading it together. There's a synthesis there, and I think we're going to need, in the mainstream world, humanity, we're going to need new models, new manuals, road maps, blueprints, because a lot of people, and I see it on this I definitely see it with clients, but I also see it in this podcast, that a lot of the old models, or the way they're woven together, they're just not working. They're not answering the questions and the needs of where we are now and where people are perceiving that we're going. And I do think it has to do with this bridging that the two of you have been talking about, and also share in the book.
Yeah, it's true. I think that it's important to bridge. Mm-hmm. It brings people together.
Yeah.
We need more on the planet.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. Well, just putting God and science in the same title,
that's amazing.
That's pretty good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Oh, all right, you two. Thank you for being here, and again, thank you for understanding this. I guess I don't know what they call it, technology, broadcast system glitch. It was with the whole system. I really appreciate, I hope I didn't inconvenience you too much, and I really do appreciate you coming on and sharing. So thanks for being here.
Well, you're welcome, Michele, and we'd love to get a link where we can hear the podcast after you put it up.
It'll be on, Blog Talk Radio. It'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. What else is it? What's the one?
It's
Google. It's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. You'll be able to. It goes broadcast out. All right, you two. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you all for your doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michele, for the work you're doing.
Good day.
Much peace. Till next time. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, gang. I put the title in the chat, but that was astrophysicist Bernard Haisch and his partner Marsha Sims. The book is The Miracle of the Universe, A New View of Consciousness, God, Science, and Reality. Wow. Loved a lot of what they were sharing. Okay, I hope you did as well, and I'm glad that Blog Talk Radio, the broadcast system, is up and running. Thank you all for being here and co-creating this with me. I really appreciate each and every one of you, those in the chat, those listening by phone, those listening later. Yeah, thank you, White Calla Lily. I thought so too. Good. I liked it too. Thank you. Thought it was a great show also. Thank you so much. Connect with me, Instagram, Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube, Awakenings with Michele Meiche, also podcast on YouTube. website. Anyway, ways to get in touch with our guests or find out more information about them in the book is also in the description box, as well as my info. All right. Happy New Year. Lots of love and light to all of you. And again, thank you so much for being here. And as always, continue to shine your light, share your insights, and of course, keep awake.
Awakenings broadcasts every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michelle's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.